YouTube, what is up? Today we have been given some Lotus changes from @ValorLeaks. If you want to follow him, he always seems to get this information early and it's always correct. So Lotus changes, we have a patch in 5 days, Lotus gets changes, Icebox is in, Haven is out, and these are the Lotus changes that we have. So over towards A site, we get rid of this and we kind of box this in, and we have an alcove over towards here to hide in. So this is kind of interesting. The main thing that it kind of affects is these attackers just wrapping around have to be way more committed, right? You kind of have to be at this X here to kill someone that is in this corner. So that kind of means that the pressure from Heaven and across fire is a little bit more, so this Heaven has to get smoked off. So maybe the Viper wall that goes up towards Heaven becomes more important, or smoke here. Smoke where my head is, let's move this up, becomes a little bit more important. So yeah, that's pretty interesting for sure. My first kind of thought as well is like a Killjoy ult is now here. A lot of teams on attack against the defender's Killjoy would always go over towards A, because you could kind of, there was no good ult to retake, right? You could do one that was towards stairs over towards here, but it would get spammed through this wall, or you could do the one over towards Heaven behind the box, but you could always just plant over towards tree. So now we actually have a good spot on A if you wanted to play Killjoy at the beginning. They kind of open up a tree and you can Killjoy ult, and I imagine they would have to go back from tree through the door itself. So that's pretty interesting. Also just sticking on the thought of sentinels, like a Cypher is now really good over towards here, like these kind of trips. Obviously back of sight becomes a lot more important because we don't have this middle section, so a trip here with a cage, trip here with a cage as well, blocking full vision so you can flood in as well. Getting some kills off of this could be good. You could potentially play retake as well from Heaven, or back deep sight into the sludge area. So yeah, I think this is a great change, to be honest. But we'll see how. I mean, util is still going to get dumped here, but I think once you get util dumped, you feel a little bit better now having this alcove that you can stay safe while potentially your team can come in and save you. So I think this is a great change. In terms of all the changes, you'll kind of see that we are wanting to change. This is like a 8 for attack, 4 for defense is pretty much the average that you'll see. Maybe a 7-5 as well. We're trying to get this more to like a 6-6, even it up, make sure that the defenders can kind of get some more rounds. That's basically what they're trying to change, and that is their main goal, it seems like. And this, for me, it kind of is the biggest one. We obviously got leaked some changes in September in terms of Lotus, but I only saw the C and B changes. The ones over towards A in terms of this is really huge. Just making this like a natural 90-degree angle instead of an angle where everyone like lines up here and can be seen from the corner of rubble over towards rubble. Yeah, I think this is big, to be honest. We now have an actual area that we can hide behind. We can have a kill trip here. We could have a camera that gets information here. You could have a chamber that plays inside. We now have this box that you could potentially have vision over the Viper wall that comes here. I'm not entirely sure. So yeah, dude, there's so many things. You can even have a person over towards here playing contact. They can either dash away or TP away, and then you can have someone else here going to swing, or you could bait them in. I think there's a lot as well. Just an extra angle for you to kind of on defense for a recon over towards here. They have to 180, and you could potentially shoot them from their attacker, like through their attacker smoke. I think there's a lot of options. I think this is great. Omen TPing over towards here to use util at the beginning. It just means that taking A control on defense isn't as strong. You can defend this area a lot better. Normally you only had to worry about this, right? This one angle over towards here if the Hobbit or Little Door was broken. Now you have to worry about the whole area and potential plays that can happen in the whole area. So really, really cool. Definitely Chamber benefits the most from this one. Such a good off angle, and he can TP away to safety behind the door. Speaking of Little Door and kind of Chamber as well, Chamber over towards here in terms of his trip becomes pretty strong as well. In this corner, get a lot of information if they're actually going to push through. I think Cypher as well, another Cypher trip. We're talking about Sentinels a lot, but I think a lot of the changes when you look at defense, you kind of mind does go to Cypher for sure. This trip, if you did it close to the wall, is going to be a nightmare. Might actually be relatively impossible to shoot. I would have to see it on a server, but I think that's a big change in terms of this as well. And you're going to see this just become a constant trend for them, right? Choke point into double angle. One on the left, one on the right. We look over towards B. That's what they changed as well. This is B at the beginning, and then now we have left, right angle once you're going through the choke point. So this is pretty cool, bit of a Viper buff in terms of actually having to worry more about these angles. You don't want to flood through when you're taking damage from the smoke. The big thing that changes here is kind of the plant spot, to be honest. I think that I feel that now you can, especially a gecko, sending like a gecko wingman over towards here. It's very hard for the attackers the defenders to kind of swing out very exposed from their areas to look at this. So yeah, this one is pretty interesting for gecko. But again, also think chamber trip over towards here. Is pretty strong. Maybe you see the same thing that I was talking about in terms of a Sova arrow as well. A Sova arrow in this corner, say you get smoked off on defense. A Sova arrow through this, so they kind of have to, when they're running in, they have to 180 to shoot this. Might get a scan off, and you might be able to kill some people through smokes. Potentially that could be a thing. Same thing with a fade eye, but maybe that's a little bit easier to spot. Yeah, just worth thinking about for sure. Even an alarm bot over towards here is now harder to clear. So I do think this is some pretty cool changes for defense. Definitely as well another spot for chamber. Imagine chamber here with a judge. Chamber's over towards here with a judge. We've got a TP over towards waterfall. And yeah, this is one shot range no matter what, even a Bucky, to be honest with you. So yeah, pretty scary over towards B. But again, I like these changes. I think we had to kind of see these changes. C changes are pretty big. Main thing to just notice is just like, well, main thing to notice is these two squares over towards here. So originally we kind of had these 3 plant spots, right? So it was like best plant spot, safe if they didn't have heavy pen, and then if they had heavy pen and we were getting punished, then you kind of had to go to the 3rd spot in terms of planting over towards here. And we have got rid of that. The main thing is like, look at this pillar as well. Main thing is just getting rid of the heavy pen on this. Now you're kind of committed. You plant here, you're committed from waterfall. You plant here, you're committed from heaven. So this now becomes the kind of safe spot behind stairs, and obviously you still have the good plant, but remember you can still get shot from heaven as well. So I think this is good. Safe plant towards back of sight just means that if you plant here, it's going to be hard in the after plant to hold. You kind of got to be committed to actually over towards here to actually stop the diffuser. So maybe they have to actually still get some map control anyway, so I kind of like that. Don't know if wingman from outside of C can see this. I probably don't think so. And then we also have this box here, which means that this is easier to defend, and the same thing with the choke point double angle now as well. Killjoy kind of mollies don't fill this whole floor anymore. You can definitely have some Cypher kill trips that would be pretty good. Same thing with the Sova wall as well, potentially, like they run in again an extra Sova recon, having to 180 to shoot that could be pretty strong. This is now massive, right? You have a lot of space to hide behind over towards here. They really open this up, so might not be as easy to util dump on this. Chamber trip, once again, over towards here is going to be good. Chamber TP here, and then you could peek to somewhere near the orb over towards C to get early information if you wanted to go aggro with an op as well. So you might see people go aggro more with chamber and hold that angle, because I think that would be very strong to play against. Definite chamber buff, definite Cypher buff, kind of a Viper buff now because these choke points are easier to hold, so that's a little bit worrying. But I'm still holding out hope that this patch is going to give us some agent changes. So we will see. If that happens, obviously I'll be doing a video about it. Let me know in the comments what you like about these changes, what you hate about these changes, what agent you're excited to do, what agent didn't I think about that this is a huge buff for. Anything like that, to be honest. The icebox changes should be dropping anytime soon as well, so I might be recording another video today, who knows. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the next video.